In fact, I referred this matter about Venerable Jnanasara and his chairmanship of the One Country, One Law Commission. Similarly, there was another commission appointed, a commission to look at the dangers posed to the archaeological sites in the eastern province, as if only the eastern province has archaeological sites which are in danger of being encroached. And that particular commission did not have a single member from any minority community. It was packed all majority community people. And such was the action of the former president. At the very outset, before coming to my comments on the president's throne speech to Parliament, I would like to remind the House some matters which I have brought to his notice when he met us as party leaders at separate meetings he had been conducting for the last few days regarding the all-party conference, all-party government and all types of suggestions that he has made. I would like to refer the attention of this House to the sufferings of the people, particularly both in the coastal areas of the country, the fishermen, as well as the farmers when it comes to the harvest of the yalla cultivation. Now, I was in the eastern province a few days ago. Now the harvest is on in those areas. For harvesting machines to operate, we need diesel. As a matter of fact, in the Ampara district, almost 400,000 litres of diesel is necessary, whereas only 100,000 litres have been issued. This has resulted in the entire harvest getting destroyed unless diesel is made available almost immediately. So I would like to bring to the attention to the Honourable Minister the urgent need to supply diesel for the purpose of harvesting. On top of that, elephants are already roaming the area, destroying the crop, and country is talking about a food shortage in the future. So it is absolutely necessary for us to attend to this particular issue, and I would urge the Honourable Minister in charge of Energy and Petroleum to kindly look at this issue and make sure that this balance, almost 300 litres of diesel that is necessary for harvesting, is to be supplied without any further delay. With that, I would also like to bring to the notice of the same minister the requirement of kerosene for the purposes of the fishermen in those areas. Today, kerosene is sold almost at 80 rupees per litre, whereas it is now sold in the black market for almost 1,200 rupees. For a fisherman to go out with his boat for fishing, per day, they require about 40 litres. Whereas they are now compelled to buy from the black market at very exorbitant prices. And therefore, it is absolutely necessary that sufficient amount of kerosene is made available to the fishermen in those coastal areas of the country. Particularly, I had been visiting some of these areas recently, particularly in Oliville and Kalmuni areas, where this complaint has been brought to my notice, and I have brought it to the attention of His Excellency the President as well when we met him a few days ago. And I would like that this matter be given urgent attention, and these issues of the fishermen as well as the farmers be attended without any further delay. Having said that, now I must congratulate the President on his election through this House to be the President of this country. Though we did not support him, we did see in his speech several laudable aspects regarding which the entire country is quite satisfied with. But however, there are some areas, now before coming to certain criticisms regarding the conduct of government under his leadership, I would like to refer to this part where he says, "Ever since I entered into politics, I wanted to create a society with a Sri Lankan identity, without these divisions, to create a nation where children of one mother can live in harmony. I suffered political defeats due to regular engagement in this exercise. It was criticized by extremists because of my continued stand against racism and bigotry. Some political parties slandered me as a racist. However, I did not deviate from my principle. I will not deviate from that policy. This is a matter regarding which I also would vouch that the President, when it comes to racism and bigotry, he had never been on their side. And therefore, I'm sure those who supported him must be finding him a very strange bedfellow because he is surrounded by people who have been subscribing to this type of racism and bigotry. They appointed presidential commissions headed by, Buddhist priests were supposed to be exercising the same bigotry. In fact, I referred this matter about Venerable Jnanasara and his chairmanship of the One Country, One Law Commission. Similarly, there was another commission appointed, a commission to look at the dangers posed to the archaeological sites in the eastern province, as if only the eastern province has archaeological sites which are in danger of being encroached. And that particular commission did not have a single member from any minority community. It was packed with all majority community people. And such was the action of the former president. None of us want this type of suffering that can befall one of our heads of state. But then he had turned a blind eye to many of our very earnest pleadings regarding this. Similarly, what happened regarding even the issue of COVID-19 was used to demonize the Muslims. Demonize the Muslims. What happened to them? I do not want to recount. We have spoken ad nauseam in this house about the sufferings that we had to undergo as a result of that bigotry and racist policies of that regime that has now been somewhat replaced, at least nominally, or a symbolic change has happened. But I hope His Excellency the President will be allowed the freedom to try and implement the policies and programs that he has so laudably laid out in his throne speech. So having congratulated him for that, let me also come to another particular point. Now, I would like to talk about a serious issue in the Navalapiti area, the floods that has affected many thousands of people. Almost 700 families have been displaced. Almost 100 odd families have lost their houses. They had to be found alternate housing facilities. In fact, I had a meeting with the Divisional Secretary of Navalapitiya. Honorable Velukumar accompanied me to see some of these areas. Labuakotua in Navalapitiya is totally destroyed. Almost 100 houses have totally gone underwater. And this has happened every year for the last 5 years, repeatedly. Every year during the monsoon season, these areas have been inundated. Now there is one school, Al-Azhar
You have 2 more minutes, Honourable Member. You have 2 more minutes.
Yes, Al-Azhar Mahavidyalaya Ceylon Bridge. 2 buildings have virtually up to the roof level. Water has come and people, the children were unable to use the building for several months after the floods. This has happened repeatedly for 5 years. And therefore, it's an absolute necessity that we provide some alternate buildings, school buildings as well as housing facilities for them. In fact, when I met the President, I pleaded with the President to make a visit to those areas and see the inundation that has caused. Now, there is Sivasami Thotam, Ovita, Mahakumbara, Jayasundara. These are all areas which have been seriously affected by these floods, and hundreds of people have been displaced and the houses have been destroyed. Though some normalcy has returned, it is important for the Divisional Secretary now to identify some state land and provide the necessary habitation for them to find alternate accommodation. So this matter I have brought to the attention of His Excellency the President. Now finally, I would like to just refer to a very, very irresponsible allegation that we made against the President of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, Mr. Salia Piris, who is the President of all of us, there are several lawyers in this chamber. Today I saw several members of the government, including, I was surprised to hear Dr. Ramesh Patirana, a member whom I respect, and he too is making an allegation that Mr. Salia Peris has got, I mean, in fact, he did not refer to him by name, but then his reference was quite obvious that he had gone down to the south to defend some drug convict. Because as a lawyer, when you represent a client, you cannot.
Thank you, member. Thank you for your contribution. Your time is over.
So now all these people have got unnecessarily disturbed by the courageous stand that the Bar Association of Sri Lanka has taken when the protest came up, when the right for people to protest and the manner in which the oppression was taking place, people had their legal right to get up and do what they did.
Thank you very much. I had to.
Bar Association of Sri Lanka acted very responsibly. That has been the history of the Bar Association.
I have to call the next speaker.
Having criticized the Bar Association president, I would like to correct that position. And I heard.
Thank you.
Rohit
the next speaker is. I'm sorry, sir. I had to cut you off.
Therefore,
next speaker is.
I would like to.
Mr. Jayanta Veerasinghe.